Your father is a bum compared to Whitebeard, and deep down inside you know it. Because who do you know have the guts to adopt all the men and children that were castaways? What father do you know of that hits the gym non-stop till their back is shaped like a king cobra? And whose dad would be willing to go headfirst into a lose-lose situation just to get back one of their children? And I won't even mention the child who betrayed him only to be forgiven with a hug and positive affirmations. See, this is a man that would take on the world to protect what's near and dear to every man, and that is family. So no matter if he's hooked up to a million pieces of equipment to keep him alive, or going up against the king of the pirates, one thing will always be true about Captain Whitebeard, and that is the fact that he is a real man. One Piece has the greatest women designs because Oda is a master. But there is one that stands as his greatest, and that's saying a lot when you look at the fact that he has super strong women that are slim, who still manage to defeat top villains, super muscular women who look like they hit the gym all day long, who still have high quality feminine features, and uniquely round women who make us laugh and cry. But out of all the women that he has introduced us to, be it old or young, not a single one can hold a candle to the phenomenal Yamato. Zoro can't beat Sanji under any circumstance, and this should have been obvious to everyone, but let me explain. First, you must remember that they are referred to as the left and right wing of King Luffy, which should have been the first clue that they're evenly matched, with Sanji dominating with speed and Zoro when it comes to pure physical strength. Second, we've already seen them fight each other countless times, and even though they both aren't going 100%, you can clearly see that they are even in every exchange, and no one ever has the upper hand. But the argument that most people make is that Zoro would simply cut him in half. But they forget that chopping him would be impossible, because he has an unbreakable body that's resistant to blade slashes. So if anything, Sanji would win. Whitebeard would annihilate Kaido in one shot, but diehard fans think this is a bad matchup for him, because Kaido is capable of going airborne and is a terror when it comes to long-range attacks. But when you also add in his extremely tough skin and ungodly amount of haki, you start to believe that he would come out the winner. But you'd still be wrong, because you'd miss one of the greatest weapons in One Piece that only Whitebeard has. And that is one of the 12 legendary blades, which if you didn't know, can cut through haki and devil fruit users like butter, with the durability to withstand magma from a top devil fruit user. So if our good friend Kaido took to the skies, one toss of this blade from Whitebeard would give him a touching reunion with Odin. If Luffy was going to have an offspring, only 2 women would be worthy, and the second one is definitely my favorite. But the first would have to be Cat Burglar Nami, who is currently serving as the navigator on his crew, which means she has a great sense of direction. And if you're a fan of the show, you know that our favorite pirate gets lost all the time, just like his right-hand man Zoro. So his kid would most likely inherit the ability to find his way around. But obviously, he'd have to get his physical strength from his father, because Nami is pretty weak physically. Also, what makes it such a great match is the fact that they already have a secret relationship, and can't nobody convince me that they don't, because they are constantly acting like they're dating, from the way they argue all the way to the eye contact. And don't think I forgot how she be hugging him. I mean, mama puts her whole back into it when it comes to Luffy. So Sanji better be careful, because he don't play when it comes to that girl. Now the second woman that would be a perfect match is the unforgettable Usopp. Is way stronger than Chopper and Nami, and family, it's not even close, for 3 very underrated reasons. First, being the fact that he maps out every single move that the Straw Hats make. And this was very obvious when he gave Luffy a top-tier beating. So there's no trick that Nami or Chopper could do to fool him. Second is his ability to make new tools to take them out, because this world-class genius can make a net out of sea stone, which, as you know, is the weakness of any devil fruit user. And it would be more than enough to stop Chopper's transformations and movements long enough for him to finish off our favorite reindeer. And for Nami, a powerful blow from an impact dial would put her into a permanent slumber. But the third reason puts him in another class, and that is the undeniable fact that he has haki, and only a handful of the most powerful characters in One Piece have it. So there's no way these low-level pirates will ever beat the god. Anime is too expensive to make, but the last few years might have changed that. Because thanks to your favorite shows and movies, the global market has increased to over $22 billion, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Good being the fact that your favorite manga will most likely be adapted into an anime, or maybe even a live action. But bad because with a big money grab comes a dip in quality. We're looking at you, Netflix, and also people who don't care about the actual story. So don't be surprised if you see shows that are lacking stellar animation and great directing. But be real with us after you subscribe by telling us how you feel about the pivot to anime. Nami is Luffy's girlfriend. It's just never mentioned. But there are 3 major clues that point to it. The first one being the intense eye contact they shared the first few times they met, especially in the first few episodes. Now the second is how extremely close they get to each other in certain scenes. It's as if they have no personal space. But the biggest clue is when she had to be away from him for an extended period of time and greeted him with a hug that only a girlfriend would give. So what do you think of this couple?